everyone, Pineaaronapple here with the sequel to the last movie we reviewed, Sonic the Hedgehog 2. Written by 3 people and directed by someone involved with Where the Wild Things Are. I'm not sure if that bodes well or poorly for us. This film was already teed up in the after credits of the last film, and even after the mistake that was the first Sonic design, the first movie made enough money and was popular enough to warrant said sequel. And I'm all for it, especially with how well some video game movies have been doing. It's nice to see a franchise pioneer this. Now all we have to do is wait for them to give one of the characters breasts, and then even the horny furry demographic will be pitching in. Then it'll be a rival for the MCU! Seriously though, in the first film we had Sonic, now Tails and Knuckles, and Shadow in a trailer, so who's next? Amy, Rouge, Tikal? Let's just hope it's not Big the Cat.
Froggy, is that you?
This film also stands as what seems to be one of Jim Carrey's last films. He has said he might come back to movies, but for now, this is most likely the last one with Robotnik here. And I am not personally wanting a recast. But speaking of our characters, let's talk about them. Sonic the Hedgehog is once again played by Ben Schwartz. Here his performance is a lot like the last time, but this time, if I'm honest, it felt a little disjointed. His character arc was quite touch and go for me, and an uptake in reference humour in his dialogue led to me audibly exhaling in pain for 1 or 2 moments. Such as an entire joke just being the fact that Sonic called Knuckles the Winter Soldier. Wasn't that funny? His writing here is either on par or somehow lesser as shown in such examples. But for the most part it was serviceable. Tom here was once again played by James Marsden, and was enjoyable. He has less to do here, most of the focus being on Robotnik and our trio of Mobians. All I can remember he did without re-watching the film was accidentally swap the ring at the movie's wedding, we'll talk about that later, and drive around for a bit. Everything else is done by the villain, Mobian's sisters, and oddly enough, the Olive Garden guy. But for his key role in Sonic's Your Moment Will Come character arc, he worked well as a point of heart, for while he was on screen. As said before, Jim Carrey reprises his role as Robotnik, and is good as he was last time. For a while. His performance is great and the writing is once again as good as the last time. But once he gains his ultimate power from the Master Emerald, his performance becomes far flatter and generic. I found far less feeling from it than the rest of the film. But apart from that misstep, I'm fairly confident in saying I enjoyed him here. Maddie, reprised by Tika Sumpter, had about as much to do here as in the last film, but unlike then, when it felt like she disappeared and reappeared unnaturally, here she is written in a far more organic way. Her fight against Gunn was well done, and she emotionally connects with the other characters quite well. A new addition to the cast is Tails, played by Corley O'Shaughnessy. Tails was great for the most part here, both in performance and in writing, though I did find he had his dull moments, although I found a lot more of his fish-out-of-water comedy hit better than Sonic's reference humour. Another addition to the cast is Knuckles, as Idris Elba.
Strike that. Reverse it.
I found myself really liking Knuckles here. Not only was the writing impeccable, with him starting as Sonic's enemy, being sympathetic and turning sides while being comedic. It's like if Drax from Guardians of the Galaxy wasn't reduced from having a backstory to glorified if not good comic relief in the Marvel films. Idris Elba, even though I thought his voice sounded a little different, maybe edited, his performance was pulled off fantastically. Since Robotnik wasn't as good as usual in the second half of the film, I think Knuckles may be my favourite of the main cast. Agent Stone was once again played by Lee Majdoub, and while he didn't feel like he got as much screen time as last time, he is quite funny, and I found him charming while on screen, almost carrying the brunt of the conversation once Robotnik goes all emeraldy. So pretty good all things considered, but I don't have much else to say. Now for the characters with the strangest subplot of the film, Rachel, once again played by Natasha Rothwell, and her fiancé, Randall Handel, played by Shmar Moore. You know, that guy that plays the tough Asian man in every cop show he's ever been on. They have a very strange subplot that we'll get to later. I liked both their performances, and Rachel got far more to do here than in the last film, even if it felt strangely placed at times. Finally, once again, the Olive Garden guy was there. Also known as Sam Walters, played by Tom Butler. I had to figure out his real name since he isn't credited as Olive Garden guy, and so no one makes this mistake again, I added a note telling us his codename. You're welcome, Wikipedia. Now that we've finished with the characters, let's get to the story. We start seeing Robotnik's progress on the Mushroom Planet, managing to make some structures, tech, and terrible coffee. Finally using Sonic's missing quill to send a pulse of power out to the stars. One that is intercepted by unexplained humanoids and Knuckles coming through a ring portal. Robotnik dealing with them was kinda ridiculous, but Knuckles' entrance was pretty good, as well as the title lead-in. Meanwhile in Seattle, Sonic is playing at being Batman. A little obnoxious and ridiculous, but fun enough. Sonic makes it back to Green Hills to pretend he never left, takes a look at his Chekhov's map, and is taken out to spend some father-son bonding time with Tom, who reprimands him about his definitely not Batman-like exploits, since Sonic did a humorous but bad job at keeping it secret, stating that he will have his time to use his power, to be a hero, but not yet. Good thing he gave that advice now, considering the time he needs to use it is coming real damn close. Tom and Maddie are getting ready to go to Rachel's wedding in Hawaii, setting them off in a ring portal, with one ring so that they can get back in a nice scene. Sonic then spends his time fucking up the house, then when Tom calls, pretending everything is fine, because this might be stealing from Hop again, and at the same time, Tails arrives in Green Hills and gets 2 stars by stealing Wade's cop car as he gets a coffee. Tom meets the fiancé, and he's quite charming, if not a little dickish. But seeing our more normal human characters interacting is a nice addition to go along with Sonic's sheer insanity. The power is cut at Tom's house, and Robotnik makes his grand reveal, adding nice levity while Knuckles gets his punch on, beating the shit out of Sonic in a nice fight scene, leaving Tails to save him by running Knuckles over like roadkill, then escaping in the car, cleverly using Tails' tech, as Knuckles gives chase. Tails fanboys over Sonic for a bit. It turns out he's seen Sonic's exploits and wants to be like him. That's nice. Then they trick Knuckles off a cliff. Ow, 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 tonal whiplash. At the end of the chase, Robotnik saves him with his bots and Tails flies Sonic away. Robotnik and Knuckles cement their team up and notify Stone of their appearance. Stone now working out of the town's newest coffee shop. Joined by Wade, Sonic and Tails check the map and are given a message via hologram Longclaw. This leads them to Siberia, leaving Wade to do Wade things. The furry duo on their way to find the Master Emerald before Robotnik can get his grubby little hands on it. Back in Hawaii, the fiancé emasculates Tom with his dude bros and six-packs, and having fun with the ring bearer, accidentally replaces the wedding ring with Sonic's ring. I wonder if that'll come up later. Now in Siberia, Sonic and Tails seek refuge in a bar, where they are forced into a dance battle. What the fuck? Now, critically, I suppose this is good on a technical level, but I spent the whole time sitting there just jaw-dropped, mind blank, wondering what the fuck was going on. Sonic and Tails spend the night after their dance victory, and in the morning make their way up to the mountain they seek. We are given a short but good animated exposition dump, and Sonic and Tails get what they seek: a compass to the emerald. So they used a map to find a compass to get the gem. Why all the extra steps? Why is the gem on Earth in the first place? That's something I hadn't even thought about till now. I didn't even write that in the script. They are attacked by Robotnik, and Sonic and Knuckles end up in a skiing fight scene that's pretty good and visually pleasant. Knuckles and Sonic get a calm moment to have a heart-to-heart with good flashback scenes detailing the Echidna versus Owl fight from Knuckles' perspective. He is even given nice parallels to Sonic, but Tails cocks it up by trapping Knuckles, leaving Robotnik to intercede and lure him back to his side. At the wedding, things are underway when Sonic decides to call Tom to cringe-inducing effect. He steps away, Sonic begging for help, and Tom realises his mistake with the rings, leading Tom to punch the groom in the face and open a portal to allow the furry duo and a heap of snow through. Now for the plot twist I didn't expect. The Task Force Gun are introduced, with the wedding being a long con, the fiancé and most of the guests actually being undercover agents, and along with the Olive Garden guy, kidnaps Sonic, Tails, and Tom, leaving our sisters alone, armed with Tails' bag of tech. This time around, Rachel is far funnier, and this is exemplified in the scene where both her and Maddie get ready to break our main characters out of captivity, by assaulting the agents of Gun. Both scenes being quite funny, but once again I was left in shock and awe as we get a long scene of Rachel coming to exact revenge on her fiancé in a fantastic sequence. Seriously, 10 out of 10. It's a little out of place and a little long, but fantastic in its absurdity. Rachel disarming Olive Garden guy and falling back in love with Secret Agent Man, as in his undercover work, he broke the first rule and really fell in love with her. This is a fucking Sonic movie, why? Why is this in here? Meanwhile, within seeing distance of the wedding, Knuckles and Robotnik use the compass to make a sky beam that our newly freed heroes see, Sonic rushing off on his own to stop them getting the emerald. Back in Green Hills, Wade tries to get into Mean Bean, and comes across Agent Stone's base, busting in and arresting him. You can probably hear the air quotes there. In a cool scene, Sonic makes his way to the island, while Robotnik and Knuckles have a fun scene running through the Emerald Temple's traps, being caught by Sonic once they find their way to the main hall. Sonic and Knuckles have a very good fight, and predictably Robotnik seizes almighty power, turning his performance from funny to fine. Just fine. Sonic and Knuckles save each other after Robotnik's betrayal and have a nice talk on the beach, agreeing to take on Robotnik together, giving nice characterization to both of them and paying off some interaction in the film. Tails taking this plane that he now has. Wade attempts to interrogate Stone, actually doing his job more than he did in the last film, and Robotnik uses his power of obnoxiousness to save Stone. Seriously, I don't like Robotnik here while he has the gem. It just rubs me the wrong way. Gun arrives to arrest Robotnik, and he decides to call their bluff by tearing their vehicles apart into a tornado of scrap metal, creating a giant egg robo that looks fucking fantastic. Seriously, it's like we traded off the epicness of Carrie's performance to the sheer awe of the egg robo. Our heroes arrive and the final battle begins. Honestly, this battle is pretty good. From the spectacle at the start to the mid-battle regroup, culminating in the robo attempting to crush our human heroes once the gem is literally punched out of Robotnik. This leaves Sonic and the robot in a tense race to get the gem, it being crushed and falling away into the Chaos Emeralds, letting Sonic become Supersonic. Now this is what I'm talking about. Even though the CGI quality dips for a moment or two, there the final row between Sonic and Robotnik is badass. Even if he might have committed murder, since I don't know how Robotnik could have survived this. Sonic uses the infinite power of the emeralds to summon chili dogs, and gives the power up. Everyone all happy and smiles, ending with Tails sucking his metaphorical dick of morals, and our humans once again basically adopting more Mobians. Although, how Knuckles fixes the Master Emerald without the Chaos Emeralds inside is never explained. So, let's hope they get to that next film, because if the gems inside weren't the source of its power, why were the gems inside?
It just raises too many questions.
The film ends in a reversal from the last. Sonic playing ball with his friends, not just himself. There are after-credit scenes showing that Stone survived, undercover in Gun, and that a secret base is now on their radar, holding the ultimate life form, Shadow the Hedgehog, seemingly the next Mobian to be introduced in the series. And once again, like last time, the credits are quite nice. The character designs for our new heroes were quite good, both Tails and Knuckles looking fantastic. Both the Emeralds and the Master Emerald looked game accurate and also realistic, while the Egg Robo doesn't look totally accurate, but looks fantastic in the film's context. Supersonic also looked great in relation to both as a game reference and in the context of how the movie's Sonic design looks. I wouldn't want to see what an ugly Supersonic would look like though. There were also quite a few references to the games I like. Tails' plane for one, although I can't remember where he got it. Probably stolen, as a similar one is seen over the wedding. It looked great. The touch of calling the coffee shop the Mean Bean was a fantastic reference, and Robotnik's Eggmobile looking great in line with his drones. The gun organisation is also a reference to the source material, an inclusion that makes a lot of sense after the last film. The score of the film, I feel, was nothing to write home about. Perfectly adequate. Not underwhelming in any way, but there was a single produced for the movie called Stars in the Sky by Kid Cudi, if that's how you say it. And it's fine. The music video is cool, but it's not really my style. Feels like a lo-fi song from 2015. And I find the beats reminiscent of When Can I See You Again from another film with Sonic in it. And while it was a little egregious, I could at least get along with the inclusion of songs like Uptown Funk in the dance-off scene. So, in conclusion, a nice movie and a good sequel to the original. Although some things were lessened in quality, most of the new elements were well implemented, and it used its iconography from the games to great effect. Most of the CGI was on point, but it was weirdly structured. Large set pieces such as the dance-off and the Bridezilla moment were interesting on their own, but strangely paced. While a good film, I feel like weighing the pros and cons, it was just a smidge better than the original. So I'll have to give it a 7.5 out of 10. And on the rewatchability scale, I'll give it a smooth ride, much like the last film. You don't get much new from it other than noticing new details or references, but the film is enjoyable enough to not get stale for a while. Thank you everybody so much for watching my review of Sonic the Hedgehog 2. Please like the video if you liked it, comment down below if you wish, even mention something you might want me to review in the future and I may get to it. Consider subscribing to the channel, and if you do, ring the notification bell so you're told every single time that I make an upload. Once again, thank you for watching and I will see you in the next video. Bye!
Toast. A little piece of toast. Because there's so much to choose from. There's brown bread, white bread, all sorts of wholemeal bread. It comes in funny packages with writing on the side.